It appears Justin Trudeau may have politically interfered in another criminal investigation, and this time it has to do with his 2020 gun grab. 1 week after the deadliest mass shooting in Canadian history took place in Nova Scotia, RCMP Superintendent Darren Campbell briefed reporters on what the force knew about the attack. On the question of which firearms were used, Campbell told journalists he, quote, couldn't get into details because the investigation is still active and ongoing. After the news conference, Officer Campbell was called into a meeting with RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucki, who holds the top position within the RCMP, and she was very unhappy. Campbell's handwritten notes, made immediately after, describe the meeting, and what they detail is truly alarming. Campbell started by stating, quote, the commissioner was obviously upset. She did not raise her voice, but her choice of words was indicative of her overall dissatisfaction with our work. The reason for her dissatisfaction had to do with her explicit instructions to release certain details about the attack to the media. The commissioner accused us of disrespecting her by not following her instructions to include specific info about the firearms used. However, I said we couldn't, because to do so would jeopardize ongoing efforts to advance the US side of the case, as well as the Canadian components of the investigation. So Campbell and the Nova Scotia RCMP were cautious about releasing certain details that would put the investigation in jeopardy. After all, it was the largest mass shooting in Canadian history, leaving 22 people dead. The investigation needed to be conducted thoroughly, carefully, and with the respect that it deserved. Superintendent Campbell understood this, but it seems this wasn't a priority for Commissioner Lucki. Campbell's notes said Lucki went on at length in the meeting, saying she was, quote, sad and disappointed that he had not provided the details of which firearms were used to the media. Then, shockingly added, she had promised the Minister of Public Safety and the Prime Minister's office that the RCMP would release this information. Campbell's notes continue. I tried to explain there was no intent to disrespect anyone. However, we could not release this information at this time. Lucki responded by saying that we didn't understand, that this was tied to pending gun control legislation. Apparently, Lucki promised the Prime Minister and his Minister of Public Safety, Bill Blair, that the RCMP would release sensitive information to the media to help their government advance their political agenda. It's important that Canadians understand how serious this really is. First, it's a case of political interference in a criminal investigation by the Trudeau government, one of the more important ones in our country's history. Instead of allowing the RCMP to carry out their mandate, conduct the investigation to the best of their ability, and bring justice to the victims of this horrific attack, Justin Trudeau and Bill Blair decided to use this tragedy for their political advantage. This appalling behavior alone is enough to demand a resignation from both men. But this story is bigger than that. It alleges that the leader of the RCMP, Commissioner Brenda Lucki, was willing to compromise an investigation into the largest mass shooting in our history just to please the Prime Minister and his Minister of Public Safety. And that is unacceptable. Public trust in institutions in this country is deteriorating, and there's little mystery why. The Trudeau government blames this on, quote, disinformation, an excuse they're using to push for censorship online. But in reality, it's repeated, cynical, corrupt behavior like this, perpetrated by the Trudeau government and their minions in public service, who cause Canadians to lose faith in our institutions. To add insult to Canada's injury, Trudeau has denied these allegations.
We did not put any undue influence or pressure. It is extremely important to highlight that it is only the RCMP, it is only police that determine what and when to release information.
And so has Bill Blair.
The Commissioner has made very clear to the Mass Casualty Commission is that no pressure, no direction, no orders were given by any member of this government to her in doing her job of running her organization.
This pattern of corrupt political interference leaves the question: if Trudeau and his partners are willing to interfere in the investigation of the largest mass shooting in our history to forward his political agenda, what line isn't he willing to cross? How deep does the corruption go? And have we only just scratched the surface? Let us know what you think in the comments, and be sure to like and share this video with your friends and family.